Listen carefully. Let me ask you something most people never consider. What if the world isn't breaking you? What if you're handing it the tools to do it? Most people walk through life acting like emotional victims, waiting for someone to treat them right, validate them, or apologize for hurting them. But Machiavelli would laugh at that. He would tell you, strength isn't given, it's engineered. And the moment you stop expecting life to be gentle with you, that's the moment you become emotionally undestroyable. Because here's the truth nobody wants to admit. Your emotions aren't hurting you, your illusions are. And once those illusions shatter, once you start seeing people, situations, and power dynamics exactly as they are, you stop bleeding from every tiny cut. You become something very different. You become someone the world can't bend. And today, I'm giving you 5 ruthless lessons pulled straight from Machiavelli's worldview. The same mindset people in power have studied for centuries that will harden your spirit, sharpen your judgment, and make you immune to emotional manipulation. Let's begin. Lesson 1. People respect you more when they fear disappointing you. Here's the shocking truth. Most people won't treat you better because they like you. They treat you better because they know there are consequences if they don't. Think about it. How many times have you been overly understanding, forgiving, patient, flexible, only to be treated worse? People take advantage of kindness that has no boundaries. Machiavelli wrote that it is safer to be feared than loved when you cannot be both. And fear, in this context, doesn't mean intimidation. It means respect for your standards. It means people know you take yourself seriously. Real-life example. Imagine someone starts talking to you only when they need something. The old you would give them attention because you didn't want to seem rude. The emotionally undestroyable you pull back. You respond less. You stop rewarding behavior that drains you. And guess what happens? They either rise to your standard or they disappear. Both outcomes are wins. Psychological insight. Humans are wired to value what is scarce. When your attention is cheap, people treat it like trash. When your presence is selective, people adjust themselves automatically. Drop this in the comments. I am valuable, and my presence is earned. Lesson 2. Stop expecting loyalty from people who can't even control their own impulses. This one is brutal, but freeing. Machiavelli observed that people are quick to promise loyalty but slow to keep it. Most people are driven by impulse, fear, convenience, and self-interest, not by honor. Think of the friend who swears they'll always be there for you until they get a better offer. Think of the partner who says they'll change until temptation knocks again. These aren't personal attacks. These are predictable human patterns. When you understand this, you stop being shocked. You stop being betrayed. You start evaluating people not by their words, but by their repeated behavior. A personal example. Maybe someone in your life keeps letting you down. Instead of getting hurt every time, you shift your mindset. You accept who they are. You stop expecting what they cannot give. And suddenly, your emotional world becomes calm, not because they improved, but because you stopped expecting rainbows from people who survive on storm clouds. Historical insight. Machiavelli emphasized that men are ungrateful, fickle, and driven by present needs. Not because they're evil, but because they're human. Once you internalize this, disappointment dies. Drop this in the comments. I trust patterns, not promises. Lesson 3. Never reveal how much something affects you. Here's a ruthless truth. The moment people know your weaknesses, they can control you. Machiavelli taught leaders to hide their inner emotions, not because vulnerability is bad, but because the world weaponizes visible fractures. Think back. When was the last time someone sensed you were too forgiving, too attached, too patient? They probably pushed a little further. Maybe someone knew you'd never walk away, and they used that as emotional leverage. Not because they're monsters, Because people naturally push boundaries that don't push back. Real life example. Imagine someone makes a rude comment. Most people respond immediately, emotionally, trying to defend themselves. The emotionally undestroyable version of you stays silent. You look at them, unbothered, and suddenly they get uncomfortable. Why? Because control shifts to the one who stays calm. Psychological insight. Emotional neutrality is a power move. It forces others to reveal themselves while keeping you mysterious. When people don't know what bothers you, they can't manipulate you. When you stop reacting instantly, you stop being controlled. Drop this in the comments. My emotions belong to me, not to the world. Lesson 4. Learn to detach faster than people can disappoint you. This is one of Machiavelli's most misunderstood teachings because people think detachment means coldness. It doesn't. It means keeping your identity separate from your attachments. Most emotional pain comes from holding on too tightly to relationships, expectations, outcomes, narratives. But Machiavelli believed adaptability was the highest human strength. If something stops serving you, you adjust instantly. If someone shows you their truth, you accept it immediately. Real-world example. Someone you care about suddenly pulls away. The old you overthinks, chases, panics, tries harder. The undestroyable you acknowledges the shift and emotionally steps back just as fast. Not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Philosophical insight. The Stoics and Machiavelli shared one principle: suffering comes from resisting reality. When you detach from should, you stop suffering from is. You become fluid, adaptive, resilient. Drop this in the comments. I release what releases me. Lesson 5. Replace your need to be understood with a need to be effective. Here's a transformation most people never make. They want people to understand them, validate them, agree with them. Machiavelli didn't care if people understood him. He cared if what he did worked. And this is the mindset that makes you emotionally bulletproof. Think about how much pain in your life has come from trying to explain yourself, convincing someone you meant well, hoping they'll see your value, trying to justify your choices. But emotionally undestroyable people don't need external validation to act. They focus on results. Example. You're working on improving your life. Someone mocks you or doubts you. The old you might argue or justify. The Machiavellian you doesn't bother. You act, you improve, you win. Because success is the loudest explanation. Psychological insight. People rarely understand the present version of you. They only understand the version that's already succeeded. So why waste your emotions explaining yourself to people who haven't earned the right to influence your direction? Drop this in the comments. I choose results over approval. Now that you understand the 5 ruthless lessons that forge emotional indestructibility, let's bring them together, because Machiavelli never intended these ideas to stand alone. He meant them to reshape how you see power, people, and yourself. And once these lessons sink into your bones, something profound happens. Your emotional landscape becomes unmoved by the chaos around you. Most people walk through life like open wounds, sensitive to every comment, craving approval from people who don't even respect themselves, letting their entire identity rise and fall based on which direction the wind blows. But not you. Not anymore. You're entering a different category of human, the kind who walks into a room and people feel something shift, even if you say nothing. Because emotional strength isn't loud, it's not aggressive. It's not about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself so deeply that no behavior, no betrayal, no rejection, no disappointment can shake your foundation. Let's build on each lesson and forge that foundation. You start with lesson 1. People respect you more when they fear disappointing you. At first, this might sound harsh, but think about the alternative: being someone people feel comfortable mistreating, taking for granted, or using. That's not kindness, That's self-abandonment. When you hold yourself to a higher standard and you make it clear through your actions, not your arguments, that disrespect has a price, people become more careful with you, more intentional, more aligned. This doesn't mean you become aggressive. It means you become sovereign. You set the tone for how you are treated. And those who cannot meet that standard, they fall away, revealing who they always were. You don't lose anything by demanding respect. You only lose people who never truly respected you in the first place. Drop this in the comments. I set the standard for how I am treated. Lesson 2. Stop expecting loyalty from people who can't control themselves. This one frees your heart from the heaviest weight you've been carrying. Unrealistic expectations. You can't expect consistency from inconsistent people. You can't expect discipline from the undisciplined. And you can't expect loyalty from someone who betrays themselves every day with their own habits and impulses. Once you accept this, disappointment vanishes. You reclaim your power, and suddenly, instead of clinging to unreliable people out of hope, you only invest in those who have proven themselves through aligned actions. Machiavelli wrote that people are driven by need, opportunity, and fear, not loyalty. Understanding this makes you sharper. You stop giving trust as a gift and start giving it as a reward. Drop this in the comments. I trust actions, not apologies. Lesson 3. Never reveal how much something affects you. Emotional restraint is not weakness, it's strategic strength. Because the moment someone knows exactly what buttons control your reactions, you hand them emotional power over you. And here's the most important part. It's not the world's job to handle your emotions gently. It's your job to protect your emotional center like a fortress. Maybe someone tried to provoke you in the past, and you fed them exactly what they wanted, a reaction. But now you operate with calm, controlled silence. You watch. You analyze. You decide how to respond, if at all. This is how you become untouchable, not by fighting every battle, but by choosing your battles with surgical precision. Machiavelli believed that unpredictability is a shield. When people can't read you, they can't use you. When they don't know your weaknesses, they can't exploit them. Drop this in the comments. My calm is my power. Lesson 4. Learn to detach faster than people can disappoint you. Attachment is beautiful until it becomes self-destruction. The truth is, most of our suffering comes from holding on to things long after they've revealed they're no longer aligned with our growth. Detachment isn't heartless, it's intelligent. It's recognizing that clinging to something that's slipping away doesn't stop it from falling, it only drags you down with it. Machiavelli valued adaptability above almost everything. The ability to shift, pivot, and evolve without clinging to what no longer serves you is what makes you unstoppable. When someone pulls away from you now, you don't chase. When a situation becomes toxic, you don't stay hoping it'll magically fix itself. You move, you pivot, you reclaim your energy. Because your emotional world is no longer built on other people's consistency, it's built on your own strength. Drop this in the comments. I don't chase, I adjust. Lesson 5. Replace your need to be understood with a need to be effective. This might be the biggest shift of all. Most people waste years trying to explain their intentions to people who are committed to misunderstanding them. They want to be liked, validated, justified. But emotionally undestroyable people, they don't need the world's approval. They need progress. Instead of arguing, you act. Instead of trying to convince, you build. Instead of defending your choices, you let the results speak. This is Machiavellian not because it's manipulative, but because it's strategic. When you focus on results, you rise. And when you rise, the very people who doubted you are forced to rewrite the story in their own minds. Your success becomes your explanation. Your peace becomes your revenge. Your growth becomes your undeniable truth. Drop this in the comments. I choose progress over validation. Now let's bring all of this together into a single transformation. Because emotional indestructibility isn't about becoming cold, bitter, or detached from humanity. It's about becoming self-governed. It's about building a psychological empire inside yourself that no betrayal, no rejection, no loss, and no person can topple. Think about the version of you who no longer reacts to disrespect, no longer explains themselves to doubters, no longer waits for people to change, no longer tolerates inconsistency, no longer seeks approval, no longer internalizes other people's chaos, no longer breaks at the same old wounds. That version of you isn't imaginary. It's waiting behind your next decision. So here's your choice, the same choice Machiavelli would put before you. Do you want to stay emotionally fragile because it's familiar, or do you want to become emotionally untouchable because it's necessary? You already know which one your future self is begging you to choose. If this message hit you, if it woke something up inside you, then do this. Like the video so it reaches more people. Comment your affirmation. Share this with someone who needs a wake-up call. And subscribe, because I'm here to help you build a mind no one can break. And one final affirmation to lock this in. I am no longer shaped by the world, I shape myself. That is how you become emotionally undestroyable.